In my last video, I talked about memories in the physical form and how the two are connected. In this video, I want to expand more on the topic of memories and the differences from my observation how my form and my Psoyca process memories, both from this human incarnation experience, my Psoyca remembering, and implanted memories from energetic programs. I'm Gemma Beall. Welcome everyone to Beyond Second Cognition. In a lot of the most recent videos, both Endel and I have been talking about nuance. Nuance is defined as a subtle difference in shade or meaning, expression, or sound. In calm work, with or without using words, nuance is far more important in telling a story than any words could ever describe, especially where real Psoyca work is concerned. By the same token, where memories are concerned, nuance is very important. I want to give an example. Our physical bodies do record all experiences, especially nuance. Nuance is not what the eyes see as you experience something. Our physical bodies do record all experiences, especially nuance. Nuance is not what the eyes see as you experience something. Nuance is everything your senses, the 5 primary and your higher senses, picks up and records during the experience. I can tell you that my best friend used to live near a beach, and I can recount my memories and tell you about the time we jumped into her convertible, drove down to the beach, built sand castles, played in the ocean, collected sand dollars, and irritated a pelican. That is the visual recall of the memory I'm going to share with you. The nuance from the memory that I didn't recount in the visualization is the feeling of the wind blowing across my face and through my hair as we drove down the road. The feeling of the sun burning my fair skin because I frickin' forgot to use sunblock. The fishy smell of the ocean. The feeling of the coarse hot sand burning my bare feet, and the goopy and creepy feeling of the mud squishing between my toes as I waded in the water. The vibration on my skin at the sound of the pelican telling me to leave him the fuck alone, and the content feeling within my body at the joy of being out in nature with my family. Nuance translates and communicates more than words ever could or ever can. Now, what I have described is the 3D physical way that memories play on my form. Psoyca memories are not really any different, except they don't typically play a visual record in my mind like 3D experiences of this lifetime does, but the nuance is there, and it is a knowing that I have experienced a Psoyca remembrance. I didn't start exploring my memories as a point of observed study material until last year or so. Because I have my visual traits of seeing in my mind, my TV screen in the head, I do have a unique way of recalling memories. Our Psoycas are traversing through this lifetime experience with our forms, and although the physical form is a recorder of the experience, a lot of the nuance picked up is done so from our Psoyca, and our Psoyca has the ability and the capability of a 360-degree viewpoint. In other words, we don't just have eyes on our faces and in the back of our head. We have them all around, and we have the capability in our memories of multiple viewpoints in recalling an experience, not just the usual viewpoint from our physical eyes. This is especially true when recalling or remembering Psoyca memories from before we came into this form. I've met a lot of people that claim to have memories from before this incarnation that coincide with the New Age bullshit, which is why they cling to those indoctrinated teachings that describe similar experiences because they have the memories. I'm not saying that what they're remembering isn't something that they are not seeing in their mind's eye, but is it really a memory of an actual event that their Psoycas experienced, or was it an implanted by the hive cell when it still occupied their form? I want to share with you a memory that I can recall from years ago that I had been believing was in fact a past life experience that I had, but upon evaluation from a different perspective of analyzing memories, why I feel it was an implanted memory. I experienced this memory in a flash about 6 years ago. It was when I attempted to make contact with another Earth human. It was an emotional feeling that I had misperceived as a knowing at the time, that he and I had shared a lifetime together based on this brief flash. The time was several thousand years ago in Egypt. In this flash, I knew the name and the face of my incarnation and the relationship with this other person, and it was only one brief encounter that was not more than a few minutes of time in that lifetime. Even though I experienced the emotional feeling of the memory flash, I'd never felt a spiritual connection to Egypt, nor did the memory flash and the emotion give me any knowing that I was ever there. As a matter of fact, in spite of what I saw, my Psoyca knowing never connected to that memory. When I began reanalyzing my experiences and my memories last year, when I went to recall this particular memory in the attempt to garner more information about the lifetime and the association, the following items became a red flag. 1. I noticed that in that brief flash of memory, I was always seeing it from an external point of view, like I was watching both me and the other person from afar. I wasn't seeing it from the viewpoint from the eyes of the form, and I was not able to alter the viewpoint. 2. The brief flash was a loop. I tried to push the memory out to see more of it, but it would cut off and start replaying again from the same point. 3. There was no nuance, only the twang of emotion that was as short-lived as the length of the memory. 4. When I pushed the emotional rush aside, there was no knowing that it was real. I have a handful of memories that fit this scenario when reanalyzing them. In asking my Psoyca questions about the memory, it is then that I had the knowing they were not real. They were embedded programs I'd picked up along the way when I still had my hive cell alive and kicking in my form. I have many Psoyca memories and the experienced memories from this lifetime. In every case in doing my analysis, because this body does record nuance and sensory input from our Psoyca, it's like we have the record of the memory from multiple points of view. It doesn't matter which angle you look at it from, the scenario is the same, just a different angle. When I recall experienced memories from this lifetime, the starting point is always the same, but I can switch viewpoints by intent to see the different angle or zoom in on certain nuance that I feel from it, but the scene doesn't change. It doesn't cut off and jump back to the starting point when I try to push and see and feel the greater point of view of the experience. The same applies to my Psoyca memories. When we enter into this form, we do carry with us the loaded information within our Psoyca, and although I don't feel the weight of nuance from the Psoyca memories on the physical form like I do recalling what I have experienced in this form, everything else is pretty much the same. Emotions are products of the form, and we experience them in these experiences that these forms have throughout the lifetime. However, in the memories of our Psoyca state outside of the form, or even in other forms, the feel of emotions is not going to play the same on the physical form as the emotions of the memories this form was involved in, at least from my own experience. I have had some very powerful emotional reactions to memories of my Psoyca state of awareness, but in reanalyzing them, the emotional reaction of the recall wasn't the emotional response of the memory. It was a current response of my physical form experiencing the horror of watching the memory. There is a difference in nuance of experiencing a remembered emotional response and an invoked emotional response from watching the memory. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, please ask for clarifications in the comments. As in all our Psoyca work, seeing the larger picture doesn't mean standing farther back so you can visibly see the larger picture. It means moving closer to inspect the smaller frames of the picture so you get more information that fills out the larger picture. Thank you all for taking the time to listen and consider this information. Until next time, I'm Gemma Beall. Stay the course and don't give up on yourself.